versus Yoga.
On episode 8 of Man vs. Yoga, Alice Seitzer returns.
Bliss. Friends, Romans, countrymen, you have landed on Man vs. Yoga. Season 3, episode 9?
8.
Episode 8. Getting ahead of myself. Crazy Eights. We have a returning guest, the one and only Miss Alice Seitzer. She is the yoga fusion master, and we're here to talk about where people are practicing yoga in 2022. Very simple. So I'm going to sit down now. This is a part of the show where I always look like an idiot. I don't like that. I don't look like. So first off, he's not animated. Come here, big boy. And he's a Stegosaurus, T-Rex. Yay! Wow. It's Buddy Zotfa. After the last episode, people said, no, that he's not stuffed. He just looks animated. Good boy. No. So it was brought to my attention that we are selling. So first off, Gunter Bliss.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Buddy's
I understand. You have 2 sidekicks. Your buddy gets more attention.
Oh, no, it's not like that. If you dress like a Stegosaurus, you get more attention.
I'll next time.
I'll
compete, buddy. It's on.
He would be, he'd be the size of a Stegosaurus. I mean, not that I've seen one. Anyway. But yeah, no, Buddy's not animated. And so we were selling stuffed Buddy Zotfas on the OnlyFans Premium. And Willie told me, so first off, Bliss, Willie, congratulations on the upcoming child. You're going to be a dad again. I mean, that's awesome. It's scary. It's scary. It is. Sarah, Bliss, as always, you're an angel. And, okay. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. For some reason, the hardest thing in social media is to get people, like your friends and all, to subscribe to a YouTube channel because, I appreciate all the follows on social media. They're exciting, but click the red subscribe button right there and subscribe, please. So do that right now. And also, if you our social media, it's just Man vs. Yoga. Sarah keeps it epic beyond compare. And Bliss, once again, she's the greatest. The website, manversusyoga.com. Everyone knows this. So, back to the stuffed buddies.
Yes, they are actually discontinued now, I believe. It's sold out.
How did we sell out of them? We just got them in, and we hadn't even told anyone. Oh, good. All right.
So, as people may not know, but I'm a budding taxidermist, actually. So, I know we had that Clone Buddy campaign in the past. Didn't come up, right?
Yeah. So, since you brought it up, I will address this. So, when we started the podcast back up and Buddy Zotfa became the star of the show, I mean, a T-Rex, what is scarier? I know we don't have T-Rex these days, right? Just imagine one. Or a Velociraptor, or Buddy Zotfa. I don't know. I'd say it's flip a coin, right? But just a roar. What are you going to do? So Gunter, he's a hoarder, okay? And what I fear is, and he likes stuffed animals. I'm not going to infer that he is into the furry lifestyle. I'll let him infer that if he wants to, but anyway, so you have all this stuff Buddy Zotfas, don't you?
No comment, Jim. I just I believe they've been
We knew
discontinued and
better
sold
than to
out.
put him in charge of like
They might be used bodhisattvas
strike
available.
that, strike just pretend that. I pretend I have a Brillo pad sometimes with them, and I can just wipe my ears and my eyes. Just do that real quick. And anyway, moving on. So, ironically, the duplicity of yoga in this episode is here to praise Gunter, even after even after that unearthed debauchery. But for this episode's duplicity of yoga.
The duplicity of yoga.
Says duplicity of yoga. As everyone knows, Gunter here just got back from the Beijing Olympics where he competed in his 4th Olympiad, counting summer and winter. So congrats on that. That's a milestone. And he competed in the luge, which I found odd, to be perfectly frank, that you would compete in the luge, considering, well, I mean, how did that happen?
Well, I was representing part of the Federation of Sovereign States.
Sure, the FSS.
Yes, in the Olympics, and I was selected for the team because, as many people may know, the Armenian genealogy is unusually aerodynamic.
That doesn't make sense to me, but I will trust you.
Yes.
I mean, it does, I guess, in a way that you're malleable. You're very malleable, which is a compliment in some countries.
And we also, in my village, we travel by luge everywhere.
I knew that.
Yes.
I knew that. So you didn't finish last. You beat someone that was fairly high ranked, but then there was some kind of asterisk by that.
Yes. Well, there was an accident in the track. First off, the tracks in Beijing are not sufficient to Armenian standards.
Well, I don't think that anything in Beijing was sufficient to
Right.
anything standards, right?
Yes.
We'll get to that. But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's let's just say I was going down the track, and what's his name? I think his name was Barney or something, but he was ranked number 2 to win, but he ended up coming in last place because there was an issue with the track, and an accident occurred. And the guy
got T-boned.
Yeah.
You're the guy that T-boned him? Okay. So you T-boned him and killed him.
He stopped surviving. Let's just put it that way.
Well, what would have happened had you finished last? Your village would have, I mean...
They would have traded me to the elves
Oh, God.
as a slave for sex.
Oh,
Yes,
you would have been traded for elf sex.
I know.
Versus having to T-bone somebody.
My conscience is clear.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yes.
I exonerate you.
Yes.
Karmically. The rest of y'all can judge us both as harshly as you want, but we're just being honest. I mean, being an elfin sex slave versus, having off somebody, but I mean, in a competitive competition.
Right.
The guy Bernie knew what was, what he was getting into.
Yes, by Armenian rules. Yes.
We won't even get into the Armenian rules of that. So just the Olympic experience in general. I feel like I had the most limited view ever watching from the United States because we're always fed this line like China's like catching up to us. China's passing the U.S. and all. And I don't know. I mean, from everything I saw, I'm not seeing it. I mean, to me, it looked like Detroit. I mean, and I can say this because I've lived there for months. I mean, less than 6. Lost anyway.
I have to say, yes, I just came back from there, and it smells better than the pictures look, but that's just my opinion.
It smells better than the pictures look.
Yes.
All right. I mean, sometimes there are many cities that are their odor is part of it. I would say Athens is like that. All that limestone at the Parthenon that has that certain smell to it. Amsterdam makes me smell the canals. But so it wasn't as draconian and just dark and stank as it appeared.
Oh, it's let's just say the opinion was that the anal probes were a little invasive, but
So is that the,
yes, but not
hold
unpopular.
on. I don't know if we can say that and still be empty. Anyway,
Yes.
I think we can. Is that what the French president refused? Because I thought that was ironic that of all the people that would refuse the anal test would be the French president. You know, I mean, I love our French listeners. Bliss. Merci. You know, I love you guys. I applaud the man. Okay, I don't really know the story, but I applaud him and I applaud you.
Well,
So,
let's just say they were not all without some pleasure.
okay, yeah, I don't. I doubt that was more than just a singular feeling from what I hear. I hear the bubble that you get put in. I hear that was horrible. How did they get you in there? First off, like,
Well, let's just say escaping was a chore.
so you escaped?
Yes, I'm here now.
Well, so that's so you were detained.
After the incident that happened with the accident was a truck. Yes, I was. I got out. I went to the edge of the barrier. Just,
So you
grabbed
grabbed
the
like the
sides.
actual membrane, the geomembrane.
Yes,
and
yes,
it's
yes.
like I thought those were like
It
indestructible.
felt like a trampoline. Inner layers. Pulled out. I broke it. Oh,
You know what that's reminiscent of in my head? I'm picturing the very end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So, totally side note, anecdotal here. But the big Indian in the film version, his nephew taught anthropology to me. Freshman year, right, or sophomore, or whatever. He comes in, he's like, "Yeah, so my uncle was a big, this is a big Indian, and in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest." Like, we're supposed to be like, "Wow, okay, so you're more anthropology." But anyway, so the big Indian at the end, remember how he actually picks up the sink that Red says he could, but couldn't, and throws it through the door like an impossible thing, right? And just walks out of the asylum because he was allowed to leave anyway. He was there on his own volition, just inspired by Red and whatnot. So I'm not tying Gunter to anything having to do with a cuckoo's nest or flying. But that
yes, they actually, as I was escaping, they shot me with tranquilizers.
oh
Yes, but actually, according to Almanian genealogy, we actually have the opposite effect.
Yeah,
Yes, it makes uppers.
it's like and like it caught like makes you sleep, right?
Exactly, helps me. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps you. He never fully sleeps. Like both of his eyes are never closed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird,
Yes.
but he's asleep.
But and also my body composition makes me particularly aerodynamic.
Yeah, no, I knew that your people like were known for their aerodynamic. I just never knew what it meant. I thought maybe you were more buoyant or whatnot. But
Both, actually, yes.
well, you made it back in one piece. Bliss of the Olympic experience. I'm sorry that you had to suffer through the anal probe and just the testing and the bubble and getting detained over and over just to be,
Probe.
gawked at. Yeah,
Yes.
probed. I hate that word, probed. It's rarely positive, But so looking forward, I guess we have Paris coming up for this next Summer Olympiad.
Yes, I'm actually also proficient at beach volleyball.
I knew that you had great hops. Like he can jump through the roof. So, excuse me. Just
Sorry,
I'm
sorry. Just, I was buying some time for you while you're.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I just it's funny. So all these undergrad stories. It's funny. I'm like reminiscing here, but no, I went to school with this guy I played partners beach volleyball with, who was kind of had your frame, but not your genealogy or DNA. He was human. He was Homo sapien. I'm kidding. But he was, and but he was amazing. Like he was just had the best form. You know, he was awesome. So you'll be competing in the beach Olympics or in the beach volleyball. It's this next summer Olympics. We will all keep up with that.
Yes.
And I'm glad you made it back.
Thank you, Jim.
So such is the duplicity of yoga. Oh.
Duplicity of yoga.
So you're in for a treat. I deserve a pat on the back. I seriously do for getting this interview. I feel like I don't know. There's no famous journalists anymore. But I feel like Bernstein for scoring this interview. It's the comeback interview. So but don't call it a comeback. But it is the comeback interview of Alice Seitzer. She's back, ladies and gentlemen, to talk with us about everything and anything. So welcome into the mind of sweet little Miss Can't Be Wrong, Alice Seitzer. Hello. Welcome to this edition's existential interview series, where we have a returning guest. Yeah, that's right. The fans have spoken, and as usual, we didn't listen, and we brought it back anyway because we like it. I kid. Hello, Alice. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I like this new persona of you that's coming out right now.
Well, the last time I saw you, you was a beautiful mermaid. What happened? Did you do something wrong? Did they took away your fin like they did my wings? Because that was painful.
No, I like to think of myself as a shapeshifter. So it's like when I get close to water, then I turn back into my mermaid self. And now I get to be a land-dwelling fairy. So it's cool. I get like the best of both worlds right there.
So you're kind of like a siren then, yeah? Because you was up there making beautiful music, you know, and I did run into the shore on my boat, so.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I've been working with archetypes in my life, and that's a whole another wormhole that who knows we may go towards, but basically ancient images, and the siren has been popping up in my ancient images.
Well, I mean, it's hard to see them. Not many people have, right? I mean, the Iliad, they had to use beeswax, right? So they did. So I'll quit this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about the accent, and I'll just go back into my normal sexy voice.
It was good commitment, though. I was like, I wonder how long it's gonna.
I know, right? And I wonder how many people stop viewing, like when they're like, he's gonna do this the whole freaking time.
Oh, this is happening.
I know. So the reason we wanted to have Alice back on the show was to discuss the state of yoga in 2022, and that studios don't even exist anymore. I mean, like, Alice, do you have a studio that's like your home studio?
No, and I honestly haven't in a while. And I think the nature of society with like the way things are with studios now, like that turned a lot of people, but I kind of went on my own thing like years ago when I don't really have a home studio, but yeah.
You went west, both literally and figuratively at one point, right?
Yes, I did. But, you know, I think so, you know, there's a couple of things here. It's talking about how society is shifting together and COVID and all of like it's a hard time to be alive. Let's just fucking go there. Like,
yeah.
It's, you know, and people crave community. So I think it's hard when this like culture of studios is kind of going on the you know, and it's hard to stay alive as a yoga studio, like monetarily and support wise. And
They're horrible business people. Like Gunter and I have talked, no, seriously. Gunter and I have on more than one occasion contemplated opening yoga studios because they all want to be friendly and nice to each other, right? And we're like really rather cutthroat. And so we were just like, wow, it's like we get to be the fox and they're like the hen house. But we're like, you know, let's just stick to trying to do what we're doing and not
classic
for that. But
exploitation of ancient traditions, you know.
well, I mean, so that brings me to another thing that's always bothered me about studios. And not studios so much, just the yoga community. Everyone has to do their teacher training, and they have to do it in Bali or Indonesia or, you know, Jakarta. But I just like to say Jakarta.
It's a good name.
I was gonna say it's also a good name.
It is.
For maybe a stripper, but you know, they never have them local. And I'll say this, I've been so looked into like some retreats now, yoga retreats were just like for girls only, women only, like no guys. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, this is the year 2022 and like I mean, I don't know, but teacher training, like,
I can speak to that a little bit.
please.
I think, you know, I identify as a woman in this life, and I think sometimes it can be really refreshing to be around all women and all feminine energy. It can feel safer in a lot of ways and just be like a place where you can kind of unwind a little bit, because sometimes, like, I can't speak for all women, I can only speak from my experience, but I know that sometimes I hold back more if there are men in the group. So it creates a different container. Now there's so much value in the masculine and feminine, the men and like the man and the woman being together in a group as well. It just depends on what your story is in that moment and what you're wanting and longing for.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. I mean, so basically we both agree that men are pigs.
I love men. I do. I love humans. Yeah.
No, totally. I mean, but yeah, but the basic premise that you just said, it makes sense because we both agree that men are pigs. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it makes it easier to rise above, rise above the average mean. But so have you seen an uptick? I'm saying this like I'm not there, but have you seen an uptick in, you know, people practicing? So just for those of you who have not seen the first interview with Alice, she is our first returning guest. So congratulations on that. I mean, you can put that in your wiki, you know, that'll be a footnote. But so I practice, like my entire yoga practice is all at yoga or at Alice's house. And it's with like how would you describe it? Like, it's not invitation only, but it is, but it's.
Well, you know, it's open to whatever souls are drawn in, basically. So what I like to have happen, and I know you, Jim, I have the pleasure of having you as a friend in my life. And like, so naturally I'm going to be like, friend, come to my house, you know, and we met through a more public yoga class too at Rancho. That's right. But what I would say is like anyone can come, but I do like to message with a little bit before just to see like, oh, like, why are you interested? But I do believe like in this universe that people are sent to each other for a reason. So if someone has a deep desire to come to these classes, I'm like, yes, come. I do like to just talk to them beforehand too. Just to...
So I'm going to throw this out there as a caveat, a disclaimer, if you will, a footnote. So if you are in the greater Austin area, and I know most of my viewers aren't, Alice is not even a viewer, but I want to know that. So seriously, I am huge. And hello, Argentina and Serbia. I meant to learn something in Serbia, and I will next episode. And we're huge there. I have no idea why.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But is it cool? Anyway, so if you're in Austin and you want to go to the coolest yoga experience, so we haven't even brought this up. So what makes her classes so awesome is she's an amazing teacher, and she incorporates music, live music, with the most amazing musicians in Austin, which is where the most amazing musicians in the world are, because we're the live music capital. And we're weird.
Yeah.
Go Austin. But it's amazing the way she incorporates this in. So if you want to go, feel free to message her on Facebook. Is it Yoga Jams?
That's the subgroup. You can just look up Alice Seitzer Yoga and Therapy. That's my business page. Or you can just look up my name too and friend me, and just message me and let me know what you're in.
But message her, okay? And if you embarrass me, I would be very, very, very upset. I'm just saying, I mean, because it's such a cool dynamic that if you were to break that fragile ecosystem, excuse me, I would snap you.
I believe in, I love you, Jim. You're amazing. And I appreciate your protection of our fucking sweet circle. Like, it's like a sweet community of people. And I really do believe that people are drawn in as they're supposed to be. And anyone who is going through it or whatever, it doesn't work, it weeds itself out. Like, the community works it through. You know, I do trust in that. So
yeah, that would be me picking them up and throwing them out the front door. I'm kidding. I would never say that and then do it. That would be dumb. You would just do it.
You would just do it first. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you can say it was part of the class, but for example, last class last week was so perfect. It was smaller, but so it was, I'm just gonna name, I'll give everyone a name, right? So there was so the musician with us was Grego, who I talked about on the podcast multiple times, who is his name should be DJ Sonic Valium.
Dude, Jim, you should interview him. He has some crazy stories of his life.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Like, you're like the fifth person. Seriously, you're like the fifth person who told me that. And I'm totally going to. You know why? I'm like intimidated to ask.
Oh no.
No, not in a bad way. I love Grego. Like he's like, we had so much fun after yoga last week when we went to go see a live one. He and I were just dorking out together. Greatest guy. It's just he's just super cool, you know.
He's so cool. I love Grego.
But what's amazing is he's able to mute the music to fit the room, because when it's cold out, we actually do it inside.
Yeah.
Which, how nice of Alice, how nice of it, English, how nice of it. It's nice of Alice to let us do it in her house, isn't it, kids? Sorry about that. I
appreciate that. I think that's important. Maybe that's why we got stuck on it for a second, right? Like, because this house is my heart and my home, and it's a new home for me. And it's really special to be able to have people inside. And I've always dreamed of having a yoga studio in my living room. And I forgot that was a dream that I had. And I was like, oh, fuck, I have a yoga studio in my living room right now.
Well, not only that, you also had a holiday ornament in your living room. Last time I saw a rather handsome superhero, but I digress on that. Although I have to say that it was kind of surreal, like doing yoga and looking up and seeing me.
Yeah, you are reflected. You are a reflection.
Yeah, I know. Gunter was the one who wanted that.
Yeah, for everyone who's listening and watching, Jim he has ornaments with his face on them, and it's amazing.
We've like got a lot of line of stuff. That's just what we give to everyone that we interview. We give them like swag, you know, cool man versus yoga stuff. And you have like an old school blanket. Those old blankets are like on eBay. They're going for like $500 each.
Whoa.
I'm totally serious. There's only one left, and that's the one we used in the recording studio.
Dang.
Now we have new ones with like the new emblem, which we have in this recording studio. But so real quick, so last class, which was like perfect because it was so Grego, who makes his music like fit the room and can also just, you know, rock your socks off. His band Jagtronica, I just saw a few weeks ago. Good Lord, they are amazing. You like?
They're incredible. That music just like hits your bones, like deep down. It's like dancey, but it also has so much soul. And to hear Grego talking about it too, and just like how much he loves playing it, you're like, fuck yeah.
Totally, completely. And then, and so then another musician was there, Edward, and then Edward's twin Bo, who's probably my favorite. And then exactly, and then the nicest guy, equally nice to Grego and Edward, Ty was there, and everyone's favorite forbidden fruit, you know, Orange was there. But it was just like 5 of us, and it was so magic, which is so cheesy to say, I know, but comfortable, which is hard, you know.
It felt real, and it did feel magic, and I
But
like
the week before that, it was like packed, like wall to wall, like people were on the roof and stuff, right?
you just never know, and each class is so different. It's like a different organism. I mean, each class is like a song to me too, and an improv song, because everyone brings what they're going through in their life. We acknowledge the natural world and the seasons, because that plays into yoga as well. And then it's like, what is our musician Grego, who is very tuned in? What I like that's shifted recently, Jim, is that Grego started saying his intention at the beginning of class too. I really like that. And he said something that I've heard before from musicians I've worked with, but he said it in a way that really, it made me tear up. It touched my heart. He was like, this is like my weekly therapy. And I was just like, that's so beautiful, because what a system of reciprocity where everyone involved, because, oh my God, my soul is nourished after I get to teach. And like, you know, the people in the class come because they get things from it, and we all are a community. It's just, it's cool. That was like a piece last week that really touched me, that he said that. I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, totally. I'm so glad you recently have started asking, you know, asking him. And does he ever say anything that's not like wisdom?
He's a very wise man. He's got some, we should have a book of Gregoisms.
Exactly. So so as far as the music front, like, how is that going? And her band is Wandering Pines, which we will have in the footnotes right here. Wandering Pines.
Wandering Pines. Yeah.
How's the music going?
It's going great. You know, it's such an interesting journey for me with music, because I was trained classically. And so I was playing Suzuki method, for those of you out there who know about it's like a very specific, and for me, it's a very specific method that helps a lot of people learn music, you know. But at this point in my life, I decided to break away and learn to improvise. And for me, that was metaphorical in learning to trust myself and trust my creativity. So fast forward, I've been working my ass off at all of this, and now in a band, and play with a couple other projects too.
So I had recently last week, it's crazy, the weather, right? So last week, Alice and Eddie of Eddie Robbins of the Eddie Robbins Band, he's the shit. They played this amazing show on the Colorado River in downtown Austin, but it was like you could only get to it by water. And it's January, right? I mean, it's cold. You know, I'm a kayaker, as everyone knows. So I heard that and I was just like, I mean, it's funny. I knew the exact spot when you were describing it. I'm like, yeah, it's got this, the depth of this, there's, you know, but it was amazing. It was the coolest music experience. Like, I got to bring Buddy Safa.
He's so cute. He's adorable.
He's,
I love
he's adorable. He's adorable little bastard.
it.
But out there it was awesome. Like for example, Natalie, who was on last show, I felt so badly because I had a couple kayaks. I was gonna message her and ask if she wanted to go, but I didn't have time to like pack both the kayaks, so I didn't. So but she was there and I'm like, oh cool. So it was just fun. Like Tanya was there. It was just a lot of people I liked, and we're all on the water, mind you. And her and Eddie are up there playing, and she dresses as a mermaid, and I have to tell you, you look beautiful. You
Thank
did.
you. Thank
That-
you.
It just worked. And there were like passersby because it was gorgeous. It was like 75 and sunny.
I know.
Yeah.
Imagine.
But
I'm really glad you're mentioning this. Sorry, I interrupted. Finish.
no, it's your interview. So I mean, interrupt all you want.
Well, this is the thing that I might be, I don't want to say the most excited about musically, but there's a lot going on musically right now. So this new development feels like my life is a quest and I continue to come back. It's like, it's so fucking trippy how this happened because Lonnie, the man who owns this property that you're talking about.
Very nice guy. Very
Yeah.
nice guy.
He came to my yoga class with his wife and we had talked about me and Eddie doing a show with him earlier, but this and that happened. But then we saw him and then later that day we were over at this magical land like this. And you can really feel how much Lonnie and Polly love their land too. Like you go and I can just feel that the trees are happy and that like the water is nourished and it's like, oh, there's such a deep love there. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to play here. And, you walk down to the stage and it's just like a simple wooden stage. It's smaller, but it's surrounded by these giant sycamores, these wise giant sycamores right on the water. And for me,
but it's an outcropping of rock that's
Yeah.
nowhere else on the river.
it's like a peninsula. It comes off of the
Yeah.
shore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I write all my music. I wouldn't say all of it, but much of it is inspired by my relationship with the natural world. And when I say natural world, I mean what's outside, what's beyond our walls. And, we actually are the natural world, but we forget that a lot. So when I'm on this stage, I'm like, I am definitely going to play music here. So me and Eddie played that Friday, and I'm so glad you came because it was a magical show. And we actually have another show there this coming Friday. If people want to paddle out and attend, it'll be from 2 to 4 on the 28th. And we got to get it in the books and make the event. But yeah.
Weather,
Weather, it's
medic.
there's going to be like 65.
What? Okay. I mean, again, I'm a kayaker, so like I even have a dry suit. Like, but
Yeah.
I mean, I wore a wetsuit last time, which I love any chance I get to wear my wetsuits because I have so many.
What really inspires me about Lonnie and Polly, the owners of this place, is they just want music to be on the water. Their mission is to just spread music and creativity. And I love what Lonnie says. He's like, we just want people to stop arguing and listen to the music. So like there could be 2 people there. There could be no people in just our natural world and beings. And there could be 1,000 and it's all good. That's kind of how I view my classes too. It's just like who is there is who's supposed to be there.
Perfectly stated. And on that note, I will release you back to the great natural world. But thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Ever since your first interview, I've told her this, but I'll tell all of you, Serbs and Argentines. But after her first interview, I had like 2 close friends message me and say, you're lucky to know her. And actually I shared that with Natalie last week and she started crying and was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm lucky to know her too. I know, right? I'm about to tear up, like, my gosh. And I don't believe in crying. So
I feel really inspired.
So thank you for taking your time out of your insane schedule. And her schedule is insane. So thank you. And
yoga in 2022. Can I say one comment about that?
Alice, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to say, like, okay, for yoga, it's really about our personal journey. Like yoga is deeply, deeply individual. But paradoxically, it's also deeply about our connectedness with each other. So it is like shitty and hard that studios are closing and we don't get to go to those communities as much. I would say there are pockets, like come to my house if you feel called. I trust that like you're, the right fit for our community. You always are. There's always room. When community gets bigger, we find a bigger space. It's all good. But I just think it's such an individual thing. Like my practice shifts throughout the years, and yours does too and will too. But I just hold a lot of hope and trust that there are places for everyone. Like there is the place, don't stop looking.
Wow. And on that note, I'm just going to shut up. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you, Jim. Always love to see you. Let's see you on Sunday.
You will certainly see me on Sunday.
Okay.
Yes. Take
All
care.
right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Wow. Alice is I am lucky to know her, but there's always a big hairy butt at the end when he's around. But and it's funny how she's kind of condescending about like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes with Alice, it's like she'll like, build like 100 village huts or whatever, and we'll do something stupid, like T-bone someone in Luge.
Wasn't stupid.
Whatever, you get my point. Viewers do. But yeah, no, Alice, she just likes to like kind of like remind you like that you didn't do it, Do you get that vibe from her? She's kind of condescending about it.
No, I don't actually. I'll come to her defense there.
Okay, all right. Well, that's cool. I mean, she's a dear friend of mine. So I mean, but yeah, most of my friends are
Condescending.
flawed. Yeah, no, it's just she's just like she's so perfect, and when you're not, she just like little subtle jabs she'll throw at you, like haha, if you fall out of a pose. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. I can't even joke about this. Alice is the sweetest person in the world. She other than Buddy here, he's the sweetest anything anywhere.
Yes, he's quite warm too.
But he's weak. He's quite warm.
He's
Stay away from. I'm gonna get a restraining TROs like on the way. Sally, right up the TROs. We have them on hold for that eventuality happened. On our next episode, I am so thrilled we get to talk aerial yoga again and do aerial yoga. I used to get in trouble. I have to put money in the jar. But I get to talk aerial dance and aerial silks with another returning guest, Hannah, who has an amazing YouTube channel for beginners aerial, which is cool because no one has that. No one helps like the beginners, and it's really good. So so that will be coming up. Sarah.
yes.
Bliss. So please follow us on social media, and more than anything, subscribe to the YouTube channel. For some reason, social media makes it incredibly difficult to get people to subscribe to your YouTube channel. So please do that. I greatly appreciate it, as would Gunter, as would Buddy Zappa, Willie, Sarah, and the universe as a whole. Until next time, I know it's still a hard time. I mean, we're coming out of winter, and Oscar Wilde put everything best. With winter comes wisdom. With winters comes wisdom. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. So, be nice to one another. And nature's first green is gold. Her heart is hue to hold. Her first leaf is a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief. Then dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. Stay gold, honey boy.